Well, I used to be a poacher down around North Devon, South Devon as well, but latter years in North Devon, mainly on the tow and the mole, the yo, the bray. When you're out in the rivers at night sometimes, just occasionally in the night the dog will act very differently, very peculiarly, and he'll get close to you and he'll growl. There's no doubt at all they're there, but I think if they're there, so what? They don't do very much harm. Very occasionally you hear of a calf or a sheep being put down by an animal, but so what? Farmers are all insured.
Okay, that's it. Right, off we go. I certainly wouldn't like to carry this a mile, would you? I do, Jackie. This road seems to take longer and longer, doesn't it?
Oh, it isn't far, is it now?
Not far now.
It's all uphill, isn't it?
100 yards up. Yeah. Hello. Droppings.
Oh, yeah, that looks a bit like dog there.
Yeah.
There's two lots.
This looks interesting.
That's quite different, isn't it?
Could be a cat.
Yeah.
With a rounded end. So
Yeah?
I'll look at these on the way back.
Good idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not that.
And I've accumulated 20 reliable sightings for leopards, 27 now for pumas, 9 now for lynx, and 1 for a brown bear.
Well, thanks very much, Quentin. That's very interesting.
Usually on filming trips, well, in fact, invariably on filming trips, you have the benefit of scientific advice or very good local knowledge of the whereabouts of the animal or animals concerned. This is a bit more difficult because the beast is so rarely seen. One is just relying on local anecdote, evidence of the latest sighting, a bit of hearsay. I've filmed some rare and elusive animals in my time, but all of those have been known to science and known to exist. This is going to be a hell of a lot much more of a difficult proposition, filming something that isn't even scientifically acknowledged as yet.
These are the sightings for the last year. Here and here. Not so many down here. Much more around here and around here.
And these correspond again with areas where deer are concentrated, which is the thickly wooded valleys.
They certainly do, yeah.
So ideally what I need is a site at the head of a valley, overlooking it, looking down it, which gives me a view of pasture, open fields, thickets of scrub and woodland as well.
Woodland as well.
Well, this is one of several hides I've put up, and I particularly like this location because it's got according to locals, a lot of wildlife, especially deer. However, I must admit, I've seen practically nothing from it at the moment. Not even any rabbits, foxes, badgers or deer, although they are certainly in the area. However, some locals will tell you that actually means that the beast is about because everything else disappears. But who knows?
We want to make the cat think that it's following a wounded animal, and so by get it to come towards and into the trap.
He won't be put off by all the earth and mud on it.
Well, you have to take your chance.
Yeah. I think Nigel Browley and I feel that the more information we have on these big cats, the more we can work out in advance where they're going to be and maybe get a good photograph of them or even catch one in a cage so that we can prove once and for all that they are out there, because if you have tangible evidence, scientific evidence that they are there, that can't be disputed. And this is what Nigel and I are trying to do.
You could have had a rope through the back, but
Yeah, that
I
would
think
have
I
been
can
easier,
manage
wouldn't
it like this.
Yeah. It's a tricky manoeuvre to get in, isn't it?
It is a bit of manoeuvre.
Yeah. Well, don't worry, I'm holding the door up, so...
That's it.
Well done.
Just finely sprung.
Well, I was out one night and trying to film some owls, you know, and that really beast, he screamed so sudden loud and he frightened me to flipping death, mate. I got in my vehicle and I took off. It was a really scritching noise. And after I told them people, they said, that's the Exmoor beast. And I'm telling you one thing, if you get so close as that, it was only 3 or 4 yards from me, you know. Really frightened me to death. But I wouldn't like to be the one to destroy it, not me. I would love to film it.
There's lots of people wandering around with a camera, hoping to get a picture. I mean, I wish that some public body would do the job we were doing in our spare time, you know. I think that the general public deserves to be protected to that extent, and the question should be answered. The only time that a danger could arise is if a person put themselves between, say, the animal and if it had a cub, or if it was feeding. Apart from that, they are very elusive, very shy animals, and they're not really a danger to the public.
The essential tools of the beast hunter's trade are one old onion sack, a quantity of tins of cat food, and when one's walking around very dark woods, fairly essential is the odd loo roll. Not knowing too much about the big cats, I did a bit of research. I went down to Paignton Zoo and I was given some books to read, and one of the best quotes in one of the books was, on the diet of the big cats, cats would eat anything from a mouse to a moose. So what I did was to open some tins of this cat food, put them in a sack, drag them around a bit, and then periodically I'd empty a tin or half a tin into the crevice in a tree, into a fork, somewhere where small mammals and birds probably wouldn't get it, and I would check early the following morning. Following morning, I came back. 2 of the tins had gone. Well, this sounded pretty promising. Thought I'd try the same trick the following night. This I did, but when I came back the following morning, I tripped across the carcass of a sheep. This was pretty impressive. I'd never seen anything quite like this in my life before. The fleece had been peeled back, and all that was left was the head and the feet.
My bloody pistol before I stick my head up there. Here. What's that then? Here. Here. It's too wet for a fox to go out there because there's water running down it. But it goes back as far. I can't see any farther than what the torch shines, which isn't very far, but there's a lot of wool. Well, obviously a sheep's not going to crawl up the hole, so whether it's been carried up there. All this bloody sheep, that is.
It intrigues me that in this sort of cosy, idyllic slice of rural England, there could be one or a family of large cats living. It's a very sort of romantic place in many ways, a rather moody place, but there is a lot of rather tedious sitting around and waiting. But then I'm a fisherman, and I suppose the mentality of a fisherman is always that you're convinced that something is just about to happen.
Nigel's taking plaster casts from pad prints taken from a big cat, which has been seen in the area recently. The reason he's doing this is that it gives us a very good idea of the difference between a cat paw mark and a dog paw mark. I think we have enough evidence now to show the majority of them are pumas, and there are lynxes. This is a scientific fact because hairs have been taken and studied from brambles and undergrowth above a dead animal, and they've been proved to be lynx hairs, and we're pretty certain the majority of them are pumas and lynxes, perhaps bobcats, and that they are interbreeding now.
Look at the 3 lobes on the heel pad of this cast. This, to me, is conclusive evidence this was made by a big cat.
As night falls, I can put on an image intensifier. This electronically enhances what little light is available at dusk, enabling you to literally see in the dark. Like a lot of things, they were invented for military purposes, for bomb aimers, gunners, and for rifles, night sights. There is a little trick we can try. It's a cassette of a love-sick puma. And if it's a puma, only the puma will actually appreciate this trick. If we did get a response, I would be absolutely amazed.
It's going to take ages to do these tapes, isn't it?
30 days worth at a time.
That's going to be like watching paint dry, that is. Should we go forward a bit?
Well, no, we'll leave it for a bit.
If we give the DIR light a little bit of elevation at the front, you know, it should illuminate this bit here. We'll have to set it up and move it, you know, during the course of the night. What was that?